Alright, hello third grade, happy Monday. Today for reading, we're going to be organizing information by the main idea. So you might be asking, what is the main idea? So let's go over it together. So a main idea in writing is what the text is mostly about. And we can find this by looking at clues. We can look at the title or the headings. We can also look at pictures. And sometimes the main idea is stated in the first or the last sentence. So it's the main topic of what are we reading about? Are we reading about kangaroos? Are we reading about Russia? And we can look for clue words that are used repeatedly. So the main idea is mainly what our text is about. What are we reading about? So well-organized writing is made up of sections. So sometimes we have paragraphs or we read chapter books, and each section should have a single topic. It's usually about one main thing. So that's how we can organize our writing. We can group details together so the section is about the same topic. We wouldn't write a paragraph about dogs and then add facts about mice in there or rats, right? In that paragraph, we just talk about dogs and all of our details in there. Because we wouldn't want to confuse our readers by saying dogs are the greatest animals, but rats are also cute. No, we're just going to talk about one thing. So here, Sir Paul McCartney was born in Liverpool, England in 1942. This sentence would fit in about Paul McCartney's childhood because we're talking about where he was born and where he lived. But if we said McCartney won 12 Grammy Awards as a member of the Beatles, that doesn't go with his childhood. We'd put that in a section about Paul McCartney's musical success. So these are two sentences about Paul McCartney, but one's about his childhood and one's about his music and the success of that. So let's do some examples together. So right here, Jen is writing an article about Mars. So that is our main idea. Mars is what our story is about. But read each detail and then select the section where it fits best. So she has two sections that she's writing about the size of Mars and the history of Mars. And we have to decide which sentence fits best in which section. So here in 1965, Mariner 4 became the first spacecraft to visit Mars. So that's really cool. And the planet Mars is about half as big as Earth. So we have size and history. So this sentence is talking about the spacecraft, the first one that got to go to Mars. So that's not talking about the size of the planet, but the history, because they're saying in 1965, the first spacecraft got to visit. So that would belong in the history section. But this sentence is talking about how it's half as big as Earth. This sentence is talking about the size of Mars, how big it is. So this would only make sense in the size section. If we put this in the history section, it doesn't have to do much with history because we're talking about how big Mars is. So that's how we're going to be taking sentences and deciding which section does it fit in. So now we'll also run into where we have 3 different sentences and 3 different sections. So it says, Anthony is writing an article about Willis Tower. Read each detail and then select the section where it fits best. So here are our sentences and then here are our sections. Where it is, when it was built, why it is famous. So we have to decide which sentence fits best and which sentence fits best in which section. So first, let's read all of our sentences. At 110 stories, Willis Tower is one of the tallest buildings in the world. That's really neat. 2,000 workers completed Willis Tower in 1973. Willis Tower stands in downtown Chicago, Illinois. All right, so let's look where it is. Where is this building located? Well, here they're just saying how it's the tallest, not where it's located. Here we're just talking about how many people worked on it and what year it was built. But here it says Willis Tower stands in downtown Chicago, Illinois. So this sentence right here is telling me where the tower is. So it would make sense that this sentence would go in where it is, because they're telling us exactly where, downtown Chicago. So then we look at when it was built. Well, again, this one's just telling us how tall it is and why it's famous, because it's one of the tallest buildings in the world. But this one is telling us it was built in 1973. So this sentence makes sense when it was built because it's telling us the year it was built. So this sentence fits in this section. So the main idea is the Willis Tower, and then we have different sections talking about the Willis Tower, so they're not all together. And then 110 stories, Willis Tower is one of the tallest buildings in the world. Well, that's telling us why it's famous. Why would people want to visit this building? Because it's one of the tallest. So we have to make sure to take your time reading your sentences. If it helps, read the sections, then read the sentences, and then you have to think which sentence fits best in which section. Because I'm not going to say Willis Tower stands in downtown Chicago, Illinois in the when it was built, because it's not talking about when it was built. So just make sure to look back, make sure it makes sense, and take your time. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, third grade.